Hello CLAT aspirants, wish you all a very happy Diwali. But I know even during this festival, this is what is troubling you. 30 days to go for your CLAT 2025. And I have personally come across students who have blatantly told me that they have stopped the preparation of quantitative techniques. They are not going to take it up in the examination and they are only going to focus on the remaining subjects. But that is a grave error you are going to commit. अगर आपने इस तरीके से अपना कदम आगे बढ़ाया तो there is a very huge chance that you do not clear the CLAT 2025 paper. Why? Because you cannot be very sure of scoring almost 100% in the other subjects. तो क्वांट टेक्निक्स भी ज़रूरी है, इंपॉर्टेंट है, और अगर आपने उसको लास्ट में भी अटेंशन देके इतना समझ लिया that you can attempt the questions more quickly, you can score extra bonus points which will help boost up your rank. So today's session is going to talk all about how you can better or improve your quant and critical reasoning in the last 30 days before your examination starts. Okay, so let's start with this wonderful video. Stay tuned to the end. I have prepared a 10-point plan for you which will help you cover the complete understanding for quantitative techniques and critical reasoning. Now, before even I start with this, I want to be very clear about one thing. Now that you have very less time, delving into conceptual understanding is not going to help you. If you start studying for concepts now, it is going to create a lot of problems. And if you have been attending my sessions regularly, by now I am sure you must have understood one thing, that for critical reasoning, all you need to know is the understanding, a fair understanding of the terms which are used in the question. Terms like conclusions, inferences, assumptions, arguments, premises, okay. So if you understand these basic things, that what do they imply and how do you hunt for them, without delving too much into the details, you are good enough with critical reasoning, right? The other backbone of critical reasoning becomes vocabulary, a strong English background, right? Because the passages are made in such a way that it becomes difficult for you to decipher and understand the language. Comprehension itself becomes difficult. You can't comprehend what is written because of the language which traps you. So you have to focus on vocabulary and improving your English. And the third most important point is to know what all traps can come across in critical reasoning. What are the common traps where an examiner puts you in a situation where you end up selecting the option which is your opinion. Your failure to understand what is the option, right? So be clear with these points and you will start acing critical reasoning. You will start observing that you are already improving in it in your mocks. Right now, the focus has to be on practice and on mock solving only. Do analyze those mocks so that you understand better as to where you went wrong, what is your weakness and how you improve on it. Don't focus on concepts now. Even without them, you can clear the CLAT examination. Same goes for quant techniques. A lot of students come to me and tell me, sir, please teach us the complete concept from basic, everything. Nobody wants you to go deep into concepts, even for quant. For quant, what CLAT is simply based on is your knowledge of calculation. How fast, how good, how crisp and how clear can you calculate? And if not calculate, how good can you use your brain to approximate and get the correct answer? Because sometimes they do put across questions which are difficult to calculate if you go it otherwise, but they can be simplified if you look at the options. The options are quite far and you can get to one decimal place maybe, or even first digit, and you can get your answer. So rather than delving into the complete calculation, you can simply derive at your answer from looking at the options. So how to smartly balance between the two is all about how you need to answer your quant techniques. Basic concept should be clear, but you don't want to delve deep into complex formulae or anything of that sort. That is not required at all. Just simple understanding is needed. That's all. Apart from that, we look at the 10-point plan now. So the 10-point plan, the first thing is you have to practice from previous year questions and papers. Your focus should be on what sort of papers and questions has CLAT put across in all these years, so that you develop an understanding that what can be expected. I would add here the sample papers as well. Whatever sample papers CLAT has released for you, go through them thoroughly and understand what all changes are expected and what all you can expect in your examination. And don't be under an assumption that the previous questions or previous types will not come at all. Because there was a sample paper which had those type of questions as well. And there is a new sample paper which has a different set of question types as well. So assume or, take it into your head that a balance of both will be probably put across in the paper, right? So practice from these sources only now. whatever doubts you have in these questions, you have to reattempt those doubtful questions only. Right? So only keep marking whatever doubts you have, keep reattempting those questions and getting them out of your head completely. Out of the head means completely coming into practice with them. There should be no faults or errors there. Next, you have to practice speed reading. By now, I believe a majority of you who are already much ahead in the race, I have mastered the art of speed reading. But still, if you are lacking, 30 days is still good enough for you to reach there or reach a mark where you can actually make some difference in your examination. Focus on speed reading. Remove stop words while you read. Read as much as possible so that your brain stops being tired and stops taking you or deviating you onto different paths when you're actually focused on reading. So remind your mind that you have to be focused on reading right now. Keep your mind into a line wherein it knows that it is aware that you're reading. So you can draw lines under the paragraph or highlight only the keywords and read only those. That will be sufficient. Read only once. You don't have to go through the passage again and again. You can list down the important points next to each paragraph so that revisiting becomes easy and you don't have to go through the whole passage. Right? Next is newspaper reading. Even by now you have not started newspaper reading, it is still not late. In the next 30 days, start reading multiple or maybe even single, the Hindu or the Indian Express. You can go for either of these. Go for physical reading of these papers. Try to identify articles. Don't just blatantly read anything. Try to identify articles as to which articles are important and which articles can actually be asked, which editorial pages in fact are the most important ones, from where the examination can put across a few important articles for you to go through. And what also you need to keep in mind is that when you are reading an article, okay, once you have developed the habit of reading, try to identify what is the main argument of the author, the editor, what are the assumptions here, what conclusion can be drawn, what is the central idea of the whole passage, of the whole article, right? What can be the inferences which can be drawn, and what makes the argument strong, what can weaken your argument, what is the premise, what is the counter premise, the negative premise. If you can understand all these things for reading one passage, practice 2 to 3 at least minimum every day, this part will start being your foundation for a better performance. Next, for quant, you revise formulae and short tricks. Again, formulae, not complex formulae, simple, easy, percentage-based short tricks, etc. And you will be thoroughly okay. This I've already told you, you need to be aware of the common errors or the traps people make in critical reasoning, specifically of not understanding what the option is trying to give you. Option elimination can help you a lot in critical reasoning, but the students fail to understand what the options are actually saying. So that is where you end up making errors. And also, some people fail to understand the language of the question. What exactly is it trying to ask you? Because it puts you in such a situation that you read something, you decipher something else, and the examiner is expecting something altogether totally different. Right? So you have to be careful about that as well. The 7th point is you practice solving passages. So I've already told you this. Whenever you come across a passage in editorial, you do this automatically. Don't wait for the questions. You derive assumptions, you establish arguments, deduce conclusion, and draw inferences. Keep on doing that with each passage and start writing summaries of each paragraph next to the passage so that this becomes easier for you. You practice vocabulary to improve reading. Okay? So I've already told you the base is English, even for critical reasoning. Right? Then it separates moving forward. Focus on DI. Again, you can practice various types of data interpretation techniques, and this is all dependent on 2 things only. One is calculation, the other one is approximation. Nothing else, nothing more. You don't need anything else. Then what is the 10th most important point? It is you have to practice, practice, practice. Keep practicing as much as you can. There is no limit to how much you can practice, right? Now, a lot of students tell me, how do we balance? How do we go ahead? How do we actually make it more useful, make the most use of our time? So what you can do is, this is a rough, a draft timetable. You can edit it as per your requirement. If you are going to school, on the days when you are going to school, you come back home. So from 3:30 onwards, you can start this. Take sufficient breaks in between and follow these patterns. So alternate weekdays you can do this. Let's say MWF, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do this. Tuesday, Thursdays, you do this, and then you keep alternating. Okay. So half an hour calculation practice, vocab and reading is definitely compulsory in the beginning. Then on one day you focus on English, on the next day you focus on quant. You take a half an hour break. Then for 2 hours, you study legal reasoning, logical reasoning, or critical reasoning. Then you take a 1 hour break, you have your dinner here. And then at night, you can go for current affairs and GK and whatever other things you need require. You can also add reading here before you go to bed. Normal, simple reading. Reading which, which you like. Reading which interests you. And on the days when you have off. Also, if you're already done with all this, you can replace everything with mocks. So at least give one mock when you're back from school. So give a basic revision to everything and then write a mock and analyze. That is the more focus point now. On weekends, specifically start early in the morning. So you start with a break itself. So you get ready, you have your breakfast, spend some time with nature, relax, calm down, and start with a newspaper reading process. Then go for calculation practice and vocabulary. Then you attempt your first mock test for 2 hours. Then you take a break, attempt the second mock test, then take a break again. Then analyze both mock tests in detail. Where you went wrong, how you could have improved, what did you think during writing the test, and what the actual author had expected, what the examiner had expected from you. So you have to draw comparisons between the two and try to reach as close to the author as possible. Okay? Then you attempt the third mock, take a break, and again analyze mock 3 and focus on the weak subjects. Focus on whatever weak areas you found out here. You take a break, you then read, and then you go to sleep. So now this is just a rough idea. You have to customize it as per your needs and requirements. And just remember, each day, each minute, each second counts. So I understand that there is a beautiful festival going on and you guys want to celebrate, and you should celebrate. It is your right to celebrate. But remember, if you give up on the time which you have today in celebrating, tomorrow will become difficult for you. But if you sacrifice that time a little bit, you manage a little bit, and you put in that extra effort which is required, you're going to celebrate for the rest of your life. I hope with this, everything is clear to you, what we expect of you, what is expected out of you for this examination, and how much effort and hard work you need to put in. On that note, wishing you all a very happy Diwali. Adda 24/7 has brought across a wonderful offer for all of you. If you are looking to speed up your preparation, if you're looking for some sort of a crash course in CLAT for CLAT 2025, where everything can be clubbed in and covered in the next 30 days, you can go ahead and purchase the crash course which is available, or the Law MAHAPACK. And the additional benefit right now is, because of Diwali, there's a flat 50% sale is going on. But not only 50%, if you put in this code there, then this even increases further. Okay? And if you put in this code after downloading the application on the app itself, then this increases further by 1%, right? So there are triple discounts which will go on. So you can go ahead, subscribe or purchase the course which you want, and also go for 2x validity on Law MAHAPACKs and get your complete clarity on how you need to clear this upcoming CLAT 2025, how you need to ace it and reach your dream college. On that note, I'll end this video. Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned with us.